You're a little disappointed when you came...
I'll admit, it was probably the hype.
Yeah.
I'm probably, as one might say, in a hell of my own making.
Yeah, I did really well to, like, tune out my hype, because I didn't want to have Jurassic World happen all over again.
Yeah.
Where, like, I thought it was really amazing, and then just each time you watch it, it falls apart.
I've kind of gone reverse on this, because, like, the first time I watched it in critic mode, and I don't take back a single thing of the criticisms I'm going to mention here and what I said then. But having rewatched it, and without the hype, and knowing what I was getting into, good. Yeah. Enjoyed it. I still don't think as a movie it gets more above like C+, B- kind of grade.
Which is pretty much what we were expecting, weren't we? At worst.
It's, well, that's the thing. It is my worst expectations, which is C+, B-.
Yeah.
Like, everyone who made it was very technically competent.
JJ's trying to make sure these movies have a physicality to them. We truly are out in a desert, a real desert.
You don't get to build an X-Wing every day, or a Millennium Falcon. Every day I come to work smiling.
Energy and action!
They knew not to be the prequels. They knew,
It was the apology.
Yeah, it was the apology, but let's face it, they were trying a bit too hard to appease the fans.
Yeah, it was drawing very much from the Episode 4 well.
How much of it do you think, like, mirrors A New Hope, like, percentage-wise?
I'd say it's pretty close.
People seem to be getting almost a backlash to it because they see it as basically just mirroring everything.
Yeah, well, I feel kind of the same way about this as I do as New Hope. It's simple.
Yeah.
But the execution was great. It's what the prequels had literally none of. It starts off like nice and strong, and like the original ones is like trade negotiations, and it's just I've got a very bad feeling about this. Walking around on some half CGI set, and then some racist aliens show up, and it's all very monotone. But what I really liked about this film was how funny it was. Yeah. Like every joke hit the mark. It's not a comedy; it's an action adventure.
Yeah.
Do you remember any jokes in the prequels?
Death Sticks.
Do you remember any that like were intentionally funny?
I don't know. Death Sticks seems like it was intentionally funny. I'm not saying I can remember literally anything else other than that. Death Sticks is pretty funny, but then it's gone, and then we're back to whiny Anakin and Obi-Wan. Speaking of that kind of relationship, 2 minutes of on-screen chemistry between Poe Dameron and Finn is literally more brotherhood than Obi-Wan and Anakin had in 3 fucking movies.
Yeah.
That is efficiency right there. Like, that's what Obi-Wan and Anakin should have been. It would have been great. In terms of the new characters, what did you think? Like,
really like the new guys.
Yeah, all of them really delivered.
Yeah, Rey and Finn. Really like him. Like him a lot.
BB-8, I'd say, is my favourite droid now.
Yeah,
I like BB-8.
I think he's what George thought he was doing with Jar Jar.
That's how you pull off cute and funny. Poe Dameron, really, really cool character. Wish there was more of him.
Yeah, there just wasn't enough. Yeah, I forgot he was in there at one point.
Yeah, because he does leave the movie for quite a long time. He's off on his own. I think they could have found a way for him to be to come in earlier and like rejoin the group and make a full trio. So
really trio would have been great.
Yeah,
the returning cast, I think they did it how I wanted it to be done. Like it wasn't. They were there to pass the torch on. Yeah. They weren't carrying the film.
Let's get the big spoiler out of the way. Bye, Han Solo.
I agree with what you said off the podcast. You either guessed it a year before the film came out or an hour into the film.
Han Solo dying, as soon as Harrison Ford signed up, I said it. I said he was going to die. Because that's the only way you get Harrison Ford back on board for this bullshit. Like, they
killed him good.
They killed him good. They killed him right good. By his son.
Yeah. Kyle.
Yeah. I know his name's Ben, like, he shouts, Ben! It's like, his name's Ben Solo. I don't care, I'm calling him Kyle, because his name's Kylo Ren. He looks much more like a Kyle than a Ben to me.
I like Kyle.
I like Kyle a lot, yeah. He seems a lot like what Anakin should have been. So.
Yeah, I love how, calm and deep his voice is, and, like, I think the actor they chose for him, like, I was worried that his voice was gonna like not match his face, but I think it works.
No, Adam Driver's a good actor.
They got the right guy for the job.
I was scared, and I think I even joked on this podcast, or at least to you, that I was afraid that he was going to take off his mask and it was going to be normal Adam Driver face, and he pulled his mask off and it was normal Adam Driver face, which at first I was like, oh, lame, I wanted to see fucked up cyborg face.
Yeah.
But then I thought about it, and it's like, wow, that's really smart, because it's basically he wants to be Darth Vader.
I liked that he was, this is kind of fucked up what I'm doing, but I've got to do it. It's the right thing. Like, he believed it.
I did like his conflict, where he was basically saying, like, I know the light is drawing to me, but I want to stay away from it. How do you feel about Snoke?
His design is left much to be desired.
This is a reference you probably won't get, but like when I heard Supreme Leader Snoke as the name, and like imagine, and they said, oh, he's a very shadowy figure on the dark side, and he's been around for like 1,000 years or whatever. I was imagining sort of a Shadow Broker style character from Mass Effect. The thing is, he's basically a new Emperor, and I'm fine with that as a, like, he's structurally in the same position the Emperor is, whatever, fine, I get that. But like design-wise, they could have done anything. They could have done anything they wanted, and they went with basically humanoid, a bit burned up looking. People are calling him Darth Smeagol now, which I'm not surprised about at all, and I'm kind of sad I didn't think of myself, but I like the reveal that he's actually a hologram. Like,
yeah, that was pretty cool.
And this was another thing, like, coming out of the movie, I've looked into it a bit more to understand the situation, and he's apparently like 7 feet tall, so he's just like, he's tall, he's taller than your average human, but he's not...
He wasn't the bone man that was in your nightmares.
Okay, so I don't know if I said this in a previous podcast, but yeah, I'll say it now. I had a nightmare about 2 weeks before going into this, where, because we'd heard some details, basically, that he was going to be, that Andy Serkis had filmed his scenes, he was on a 20-foot platform, but it implied that he was massive and skeletal, and I must have transmitted this into my dreams as him being a 20-foot tall, a giant skeleton man, and I imagined him with Sam's 20s voice.
We gotta kill them Jedi, see? It's the Star Wars I've always wanted and I'll never get. Well, anyway, back on track.
Back to Star Wars, yeah. With the pacing, it went a bit fast, I would say, and also, like, there was maybe a few too many action scenes. Like, I don't think we needed the Han Solo Pac-Man ship fight, like,
with the alien.
Yeah, with the weird CGI aliens.
Yeah,
it felt like
cut that out.
Yeah, it felt like they just said, "Look, you need an action beat every 10 pages," and it's just, we didn't. In terms of the, let's deal with the elephant in the room, the new Death Star. Yeah. I mean, Starkiller Base. Han Solo basically says, how do we blow it up? We've done this twice, let's just do it again.
Yeah, like he was very much, this is dumb, you're dumb.
I felt like that was Harrison Ford at that point, not Han Solo. Like, the fact they literally say, I wish this was the Death Star, look, here's the Death Star, and this one's like way bigger. It makes sense in terms of escalation, and as a visual, I love it. Every time it's on screen, it's dumb and I love it, it's so great, but they didn't need to have the bombing run to blow it up, because it is just so reminiscent of A New Hope. And like, the biggest problem is, it's not the focus of the film, because like when they start out in A New Hope, it's about delivering the Death Star plans, and everything revolves around the Death Star. Like, the whole thing is about, we need to destroy the Death Star, whereas in the new thing, it's about finding Luke, and then this whole thing about this new Death Star comes in, and it's like, I don't care, just find Luke, because like, yeah, sure, it's going to charge up and kill people, whatever, I don't know any of them, so it'd be fine if it just, like, they just didn't have it in the movie, or if it just wasn't blown up, like, they deal with that in the next movie. Like, wouldn't that have been interesting if they'd, like, kept it carrying over?
Yeah, true.
Because as a visual, I love it. Because a lot of First Order guys must have died on that as well.
Yep.
Like
at least 20.
Yeah, like 20 or 30.
Well, God forbid, 40.
or God forbid, Captain Phasma.
That was the one thing I was truly disappointed with. All the cool scenes you see of her in the trailer, most of her scenes.
I love the walking, the slow, awesome walking, and in the film it's like, yeah, I'm a badass, and then Chewbacca tackles her in that shot. Like,
the scene where she looks fucking rad in the trailer, and then they cut it off just before Chewbacca tackles the fuck out of her.
Yeah, and then
I don't think she shot her gun.
Yeah, she didn't at all, and her gun's awesome. I love it. There's just none of that.
It's a shame. She looks awesome. She sounds awesome, she walks awesome.
I got the toy of her because she's awesome. Like,
here's really hoping that she's in the next film.
She's confirmed for a turn. The effects in this movie, like the CGI stuff, like, what did you think of it?
CGI looks really great.
It looks good, except for the two motion capture characters, Leader Snoke and Maz Kanata.
Yeah, Maz looked like it didn't finish, almost?
Almost. I know that they did a bunch of reshoots for her, because apparently she was meant to stick with them throughout the rest of the film and, like, be at the Resistance base, because there was a shot in the trailer where you see Maz, like, handing Luke's lightsaber to Leia. So, you can see that maybe there was some jiggering with that.
Yeah, Snoke looked a little bit funny, but I could at least say, it's just the grain of the film.
I think my main problem with Snoke's design was the fact that you could have done with that with makeup. Like,
Yes, you could have.
because I know that he's a bit skeletal and he's a bit like he's got a weird shaped head, I guess. But you could basically say that that's human. Like,
Yeah.
if you told me that was a human with a lot of disfigurement, I'd believe it. Just a bit. I think it's also because there is so much practical effects. It's like when you see those CGI characters, it's the opposite of what happened in the prequels. Because in the prequels, whenever they were on a real full set or in a real full
Or
location,
had an actual model or
it
anything.
was like landing on an alien planet. It was
Yeah.
just like, Jesus Christ, what the hell's this?
Yeah.
And then it's like, in this film, CGI, like, to that extent, is really weird. But the CGI is good overall.
Yeah,
it's a nice combination.
The dog fights with the TIE fighters and stuff.
Those were
look
really
awesome.
great. I think
love the big crash Star Destroyer. And
Yeah.
and the Millennium Falcon.
onto the fake out though,
Yes.
because all of the advertising made you think, oh, Finn, he's the Jedi. He's got like the lightsaber in every scene.
Yeah,
He ain't no Jedi.
yeah. I like that they made it right.
He might be a Jedi though. 'cause
Oh yeah. There's implication.
There's that opening. There's the position's not been fully filled, just yet. They could make him a Jedi. Just
Yeah.
I think that'd be really cool to have two main Jedis and like
That'd be fun.
Yeah, and have them fight whoever's. And,
Yeah. Like I liked how she had untapped Jedi powers, but they didn't make it so that she could do anything. At first, I was a little worried that they were gonna. When the film first starts out, I thought they were going to try and make a point like, no, I can take care of myself, damn it.
She was almost on the edge of independent woman who don't need no man.
Exactly, but that they did it well and they just dodged around it. I like when like Finn grabs her hand, is like, why are you still holding my hand? I know how to run.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah.
And also at the end, she does get captured for a bit and then frees herself, which I think is a nice balance of like, okay, look, she got punked out. That happened,
but she
then freed herself and also got help from people.
Yeah,
it's a nice balance where it's like she's not invincible, she's not crazy good, and like people say like, oh, she got Jedi powers out of nowhere. I thought it was pretty clear that she got that from Kyle, right? He tries to mind probe her, she turns it back on him, so maybe she got some of his abilities. Like, he was teaching her stuff by proxy kind of stuff. The going theory is, yeah, she was a Padawan at his academy, either because she's his kid, or she was just a Padawan there, whatever. But he left her there to keep her safe from Kyle, and he wiped her memory to keep her safe from all of that. Coming out of this, one of the reasons I wasn't too happy was the amount of questions that we had by the end of it. If we're talking about the ending, let's talk about those questions. We don't know who Rey's parents are.
Yeah.
We don't know who Snoke is. We don't really know. Like, I've done a bit of reading, but we don't know who the First Order or the Resistance really are. Like, up until this point, like, we don't know who the New Republic were. And, like, all this stuff about the universe, we just don't know. And
it does feel a bit find out next time.
that was my point. It does feel a bit like, tune in next time if you want to figure all this stuff out. And I resented that for all of the mystery marketing that they had.
Yeah.
The biggest one of them all being Luke, obviously, like, because we don't really know what he did.
Big spoilers. He shows up at the end looking pretty cool and he's got a cloak on.
Yeah.
And then it ends.
Yeah. I am very scared, though, that I might have been Phantom Menaced here. And that the whole world might backlash a bit. I'm not saying it's bad. I still say, overall, solid C-grade film, and if I put it on the top of my top 10 list, it will be purely through Star Wars.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't deserve it, but it is a good movie.
The complaints you brought up are fine, but it's like, if I was to put it on a top 10, it would be on the bottom 5, maybe. It's not Phantom Menace. We're not. It's not a repeat of Space Jesus gets a woman pregnant and he's supposed to save the Force. Oh wait, there might be a chance that he's gonna kill a church full of kids.
Yeah.
It's not that. We've gotten past this. Like you said, J.J. Abrams was a good pick for it because he's a competent director.
Yeah. I think overall it could have done with more original stuff, but overall, pretty solid.
Yeah.
Pretty alright. I stand by all my criticisms.
Yeah.
I put them aside to enjoy the film.
I'm down with it.
And I think I'm okay watching it a few more times and buying more Star Wars merch.
Oh,
Not feeling too bad about it.
Well, I think we nailed it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We produced solid middle-of-the-road content, just like this
As
film.
long as we can be the best okay podcast ever, I'm fine with that.
Yep, basically our laws for Star Wars. If it's okay, it's doing pretty well for itself.
And eventually, you'll get our Winter Soldier of podcasts.
Maybe.
Eventually.
Maybe. We don't promise anything.